The movie begins with the collapse of the American economy. As a result, the crime rate increased dramatically, so many criminals were thrown into prisons run by private companies. One of those prisons is Terminal Island Penitentiary, which is headed by a woman named Claire Hennessy. In her prison, Hennessy often held an event called the Death Race, a brutal competition in which inmates competed to win. Hennessy certainly did not organize the event without getting benefits. To make a profit, she broadcast the race on the internet. One afternoon, a masked racer named Frankenstein raced his vehicle in a race in the prison. He is accompanied by his female navigator, Case. Case advises him to slow down, so they can avoid the barrage of shots fired by their rival, Joe. But Frank refused to do so because they were close to the finish line. Frank instead throws Case out of the car. A moment later, Joe managed to blow up Frank's car. The explosion instantly killed Frank.
Sayonara, Frankie.
In a factory, a worker named Jensen Ames is seen at work while other workers demonstrate to protest against the company's very low wages. The factory asked the SWAT team for help to stop the demonstration. When the commotion occurred, Jensen was seen helping his friend who fell during a demonstration, but unfortunately, Jensen was attacked by the SWAT team, so he fought back against the SWAT team that attacked him. Long story short, Jensen went home. He has a wife and a 2-month-old baby girl named Piper. However, after taking a bath, he found his wife had died in the kitchen of his house. Then, when he looked back, a man suddenly sprayed liquid on his face, knocking Jensen out. Moments later, Jensen wakes up with a knife in his hand. And when he checked his surroundings, the police had surrounded him. Jensen was immediately arrested and taken to the police station. During the trial, Jensen was sentenced to life in prison, while Piper was placed in an orphanage. 6 months later, Jensen was sent to the island prison terminal. When he got there, prison officials took his photo, sprayed him, and escorted him to a cell already occupied by an inmate. Wasting no time, the prisoner attacked him as soon as prison officials left the cell. When the prison officer returned to check on the situation, he was surprised to see that Jensen was fine, while his cellmates looked battered. The bullying against Jensen still hasn't stopped. During lunch, an inmate suddenly spat on Jensen's food. Next, another prisoner named Pachenko mocked Jensen for killing his own wife. Fights are inevitable.
Guy kills women, rapes kids.
You hear that, everyone?
Fortunately, when Jensen fell due to the multiple blows he received, prison officers came to intervene and took Jensen to meet Hennessy. It turns out that Hennessy offered Jensen to participate in the death race. She wanted Jensen to pretend to be Frankenstein, nicknamed Frank, the popular racer who had died in the last race. Compensation for the victory that will be received is freedom from prison, that is, if he is able to win 5 races. Frank himself had won 4 races. After thinking for a while, Jensen agreed to Hennessy's offer to participate in the race. Next, Hennessy took Jensen to a repair shop and introduced him to the technicians and Frank's trainer. Jensen was also invited to see Frank's car that he would use in the race later. Then, the coach took Jensen to the open field to show the other inmates who will be his opponents in the race later. Jensen's opponents include Hector Grimm, who is known as the Grim Reaper; Master, who is receiving treatment for mental illness; 14K, which is the 10th generation of the Mafia; Pachenko, who had killed 9 people in the race; and Travis Colt, the star of Death Race. Meanwhile, Joe, Frank's killer, approaches Jensen and his coach. He threatens to kill Frank in the next race. Turns out, Joe thought that Frank was currently receiving treatment at the hospital, when in fact, Frank had died in the last race. When game time arrived, Jensen walked through the corridors of the cells in prison wearing Frank's mask and clothes. The inmates behind the prison cell shouted Frank's name because they thought the racing legend had returned. Before the race starts, Jensen is introduced to his navigator case.
This is it.
Initially, Jensen was still adapting to the car he was driving. However, Case and the coach guided Jensen so that he quickly got used to it. In the middle of the race, Joe keeps attacking Jensen's car because he intends to kill Frank. In this race, a racer will get 3 features. The first 2 features are defense and attack features, which can be used if the racer passes a shining image with a shield and sword symbol. While the last feature, which is represented by a skull image, functions like a mine. If a racer passes it, the second racer who hits it will die. With the function they have, once Hennessy activates the feature in the race arena, the racers compete to get the 3 features to kill each other. In the middle of the race, a racer is seen passing the skull feature which has been activated. Not long after, an iron machine emerged from under the racing arena and hit the racer. The car exploded immediately. Oddly enough, some of the features that Jensen should have received didn't work on his car. But with his precise tactics, he was able to kill one of his opponents who had been attacking him. Jensen then continues the race with the remaining opponents.
Fucking Reaper, baby.
The napalm won't fire!
Unhook the napalm. Get him a leg.
What? Nice work.
While driving along in the middle of the racetrack, Jensen glanced to the side of his car, where Pachenko was seen driving his car at the same speed. Pachenko gave him a hand gesture. Jensen knew the gesture. It was the hand gesture of the killer of his wife. Jensen was so surprised to see Pachenko's hand movement, he was caught off guard. Joe didn't waste the opportunity. He immediately hit Jensen's car from the side, forcing Jensen to drive his vehicle to a repair shop on the edge of the racetrack. This race is divided into 3 stages. To win the match, a racer only needs to get to the finish line in the first and second stages. However, in the third stage, a racer must be in first place to be a winner. When the technicians checked Jensen's vehicle, they checked all the features in Frank's car and found it to work normally. The technicians eventually learned that Case has been manipulated by Hennessy. Jensen then went to Hennessy in her office to convey his unwillingness to participate in the next race. Jensen revealed that now he knew who was behind his wife's death. It was Hennessy who ordered Pachenko to kill his wife so that Jensen could be sent to the prison. Hennessy finally shows a photo of Jensen's baby girl and threatens to kill her if Jensen refuses to enter the race. Jensen was forced to follow the race again. While Jensen was repairing his car, he saw Pachenko pass by the garage. He followed Pachenko to another room which turned out to be a trap. Jensen was tied around the neck and tortured by Pachenko and his men. Just as Pachenko was about to kill Jensen, suddenly one of Frank's technicians fired a stun gun at Pachenko's body which knocked him unconscious. Seeing this, Jensen immediately turned to attack Pachenko's men.
Hennessy made me do it. Go it. You're gonna die here.
Unfortunately, prison officers rushed over and fired a stun gun at Jensen's body. Jensen fell to the floor. It was time for the second stage of the race. Jensen was acting strangely towards Case. He asks if Case was involved in Frank's previous death. At first, Case refuses to admit it, but because Jensen threatens to kill her, Case confesses to Jensen that she had been threatened by Hennessy, in which she was ordered to sabotage her previous race with Frank and must also do the same to Jensen. Hearing this, Jensen understood Case's position and continued the race. He accelerated his vehicle while attacking Joe and Pachenko's car. In the fierce race, Jensen managed to overtake Pachenko's car and get the sword image feature. Jensen then turned his vehicle so that he was facing Pachenko's car. Relentlessly, he fired at Pachenko's car, causing Pachenko to lose control and crash into a wall.
He's going after Pachenko.
After defeating Pachenko, Jensen stopped his car and got down and approached Pachenko's car. He dragged Pachenko out of the car right in front of the surveillance cameras for Hennessy to see. Then he broke Pachenko's neck, killing him instantly. Annoyed by Jensen's actions, Hennessy immediately ordered her men to take out the dreadnought, her favorite modified tanker truck, to kill all the participants. The appearance of the dreadnought made the other racers panic. One by one, the racers were bombarded by relentless gunfire until their car exploded. Not only firing bullets, this dreadnought also issued weapons such as rotating drills that penetrated the cabins of the racer cars it passed. The drill gun instantly killed the racers and their navigators. The cruelty doesn't seem to end there. There was even one racer who was shot using a cannon at close range until the car exploded.
Fuck me.
The dreadnought had killed almost all of the participants in the race, leaving only Jensen and Joe. The ferocity of the dreadnought attack even overwhelmed Joe. In the middle of the arena, Jensen took the initiative to contact Joe using the communication device in his car. Jensen invites Joe to overtake the dreadnought and pass the skull image together. Joe agreed to the proposal, and their cars simultaneously touched the skull image. Not long after, the dreadnought also passed the image of the same skull, making an iron bar come out from under the racing arena. In an instant, the dreadnought shattered and capsized as it hit the iron bar. With the dreadnought destroyed, the second stage of the match was over. Hennessy, who began to worry about Jensen's victory, ordered one of her men, a prison officer, to put a bomb under Jensen's car. When Hennessy was giving a speech in front of the inmates at the prison officer quickly carried out the orders. Sometime later, Jensen's coach showed a video recording of the race. He showed the area just behind the can wall was the way out of the prison. Jensen plans to start his escape. He went to Joe and told him about a shortcut to get them out of prison. The day before the race started, Hennessy visited Jensen in his cell and submitted his release letter if he won the match. However, it was just a ruse because Hennessy knew that Jensen would die during the race. The final stage of the death race with only two racers, Jensen and Joe, finally starting. When she got into the car, Case saw many visible changes in the car. Jensen explained that his car had been modified. Case insists that she will help Jensen to win the match. She would no longer obey Hennessy's orders. The race starts at night, with lights flashing across the racetrack. During this final race, Hennessy will turn on the feature for Joe but not for Jensen, so Joe can easily shoot and attack Jensen's car. Then, Joe relentlessly kept shooting at Jensen's car. Unexpectedly, after Hennessy activated the rocket feature, Joe did not aim the rocket at Jensen, but at the fence that bordered the racetrack. The fence was destroyed instantly, making it easier for their car to pass through.
Son of a bitch! Get the choppers in the air!
Seeing her prisoner escape, Hennessy immediately ordered her men to arrest Jensen and Joe. Then she took the bomb trigger device and pressed the button. However, the bomb didn't work. As it turned out, Jensen's trainers and technicians had discovered the bomb planted in Jensen's car. They then took out and defused the bomb. Hennessy immediately deploys helicopters and troops to capture Jensen.
Very nice modification.
As he crossed the bridge, Jensen began to feel overwhelmed by the police force that was about to arrest him. Case also offers to pretend to be Frank and drive the car, so Jensen can get out of the car and run away. Wearing Frank's mask, Case starts to drive the car, while Jensen runs away from the car he was driving. Then, Jensen met with Joe and ran after the train that was passing there. Frank's rearrest by the police earned Hennessy a lot of praise and prizes. The public, however, did not know that the one caught by the police was Case in disguise. Hennessy didn't know either. She is now busy opening gift boxes in her office. However, to her surprise, the contents of the box were the bombs she had ordered to put in Jensen's car. Instantly the light on the bomb turned green. The bomb exploded, killing Hennessy and her men. It is revealed that the bomb sender is not someone from outside the prison, but the coach who has a grudge for Hennessy's heinous behavior. 6 months later, after their escape from prison, Jensen and Joe open an auto repair shop in the Miami area. One afternoon, they saw a car coming to their workshop at high speed. It turns out that the person driving the car is Case, who has been released from prison. Long story short, they then live happily. The message of this story is about a blessing in disguise. Bad luck sometimes has to be seen from a different perspective, so that we can take the meaning and wisdom of that misfortune for our lives.